Hey, what it do on a Monday evening? 414 stand up. It's Outlaw Radio live on a Monday evening. How y'all doing out there? My name is Kevin Barnes. I'm the gracious host of Outlaw Radio. Thank you for choosing us as your Monday evening entertainment or enlightenment, depending on which side of the fence you're standing on. Mondays and Wednesdays are when we do this. 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Right? But you can always go back and check out all the shows. They're on my YouTube page. They're on my Facebook page. Even though Facebook has started to delete older videos, you can still do that. And we're on TikTok as well as the People's Network. So tell a friend to tell a friend, share the show. Outlaw Radio Live is in the building. Got my co-pilot with me, Mr. Carter. How you doing tonight, my brother?
I'm all right. How y'all doing? Welcome to Outlaw Radio, where we talk that talk and we definitely walk that walk. Raise an elevating thought. Y'all better come on in. I'm trying to tell you, I am the black woman lover, the black man's brother, the culture teacher, hood healer, the ghetto witch doctor, the real OG. We don't glorify, we teach. Hey, mama, there go the St. Most, man. Hey, listen, man, if you ain't been to the House of Vitality, better bring your ass there, man. Just because it's outside, you still got to boost your immune system. Your immune system need to be strong. So come pull up. You got questions? I got to. What to do, kid?
Man, I'm chilling, man. I'm feeling good. It's my kind of day, a little overcast, but not really cold, but not really hot. I just have such a good time watching these seasons change, Kamar. You know, I'm a nature guy, right? Talking to the rabbits in my yard, talking to the birds, even though they shut up my car.
Man, it's a blessing. Hey, it's a blessing being able to watch them change, right?
Yeah. And to see things that you maybe didn't understand when you were younger in terms of how the seasons change and how life responds, where you got a tree that has absolutely no leaves. And then I look out the window now and it's just colors, greens, maroons, light greens, dark greens, bugs, insects. The sun is shining. Things are growing. Things are eating. Food is plentiful. In a couple months, it's going to be cold as a motherfucker again. So y'all better enjoy it while it lasts. But let me start this show off. And let me say this. Please share the show. There's a phone number attached to our show, which is 262-202-5131. It's scrolling across the bottom of the screen. But you can also jump in the chat room. Our chat room always pops. I say that all the time. But my brother, I want to say to you, happy Father's Day. I want to say to all the brothers out there who have children, and that have given their best at being a father to those children. And I know the situations and the circumstances vary. But you know, effort is something that can't be replaced or duplicated. As long as you try and you're good with me, right? As long as you don't give up. So I want to say happy Father's Day to you. And I want to
appreciate that, man. Same to you, man. You know, you well deserve it, man. You got two kids that's in school, out there in the world, busting moves, doing things. You know what I mean? Job well done, Pops.
Well, I'm working with my son. Y'all pray for me. Y'all pray.
Hey, look, I was just gonna say, and then sometimes we still ain't done. You know what I'm saying?
I thought I was done. Come on.
But hey, man, but look, he out there and he doing it. You know what I mean? He out there.
He's a work in progress, just like I was at his age.
Yeah.
The one thing I'm grateful for is that
you see in progress.
Yeah, he is not as poisoned as I was, but it's still a lot of work to be done, Kamar.
Right. It's other shit, right?
Y'all, please pray for me. Please pray for me. I'm man. Yeah. So, but yeah, you know, and you know, I listen to a lot of things. First of all, what did you do for Father's Day week? Well, for Father's Day, I should say. It was really Father's Day weekend, but what did you do anything special?
Well, the early part of the day, I had to get out and get supplies. Being an entrepreneur, you know, the job's never done. I don't know what holiday it is. If you got something to do, you got something to do. Handle it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But there's a bunch of other perks too, though, that I get on the other side. But anyway, the second half of my day was dope, man. I had a dope ass experience. Remember Anomaly Catering,
Yes.
who I brought on the show a while back.
Yes.
Well,
Yes. Yes.
they called me and Ticey and asked us if we wanted to be on a couples in business podcast.
Okay.
So it was other prominent couples in the community that was on it. And, they cook, so they cater. So what they did, they made it a huge dinner set. It was dope as fuck. You know what I mean? Miss Courtney, his wife, did the vegan cooking for me and Tyson. So they had the chef come out just for us. You know what I'm saying? And the experience was dope. Patrice from the Just Patrice show, she did it. We was at her building, Calm Wellness. She has a business where they specialize in relaxation treatments and stuff like that.
Yep.
But it was dope. It was there at her place of business. The set was dope. You know what I'm saying? I was just about to post the pictures tonight. I had a ball, man. I had a ball. I threw some shots back and everything. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah. So you know what I mean. Her name. If y'all want to see it, it was a dope interview. We had fun. Like I say, it was a huge dinner, and I had questions about business for couples. You know what I'm saying? It was kind of therapeutic, I guess, too. But if y'all want to watch it, just go to Patrice Green page and look for the thing we did last night. It was dope as fuck.
Okay. That's what's up. I had a dope Father's Day. I mean, my wife, she did it for me. A meal. Mine wasn't vegan. Mine had flesh, no diddy.
Yeah.
My daughter who is phenomenal. We have a common bond over music. And so when she was young, I didn't want to play my music. You know what I'm saying? Because you know what we listen to, Kamar. But I would play everything old, right? Like all of the stuff that I grew up on. And I didn't know at the time she was really just soaking it up. So she's really into, like, if there's an old song, like if I play some 80s stuff and she knows all those songs, all this. So she sent me some records from Minneapolis, some records like wax.
Right.
Of two of our songs that we used to, rock with. And then, like I said, Sunday was cool, laid back, got the meal. My wife actually bought me flowers, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh.
Ain't no wrong with that.
Hey,
she gave you your flowers. She gave you your flowers, you did.
I understand this. I understand.
Hey, I think that was such a dope gift what your daughter gave you.
Oh, it was. Absolutely.
You know what I mean? I love the thoughtful ones like that. You know what I'm saying? Those are the best ones. It ain't about how much money you spend. You know what I mean? Just put some thought behind it. Put some love into it. I'm gonna love the gift. You know what I'm saying? That's dope.
So I've always had, because I'm old and I go way back. So the original albums that I bought when I was 10, 12, Run DMC's first album, Crush Groove soundtrack, Slick Rick and Dougie Fresh, the Lottie Dottie with the show on the other side.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I have all those. I still have them. And so I gave them to her when she was very young, and I bought her a record player. My daughter's just artistically inclined and very gifted. So we connect over that. She actually sent me Parliament Underwater. It was a Motor Booty Affair. And she sent me the actual album with the album cover where you open it up and it's pop-ups. She did that for me for Christmas one year. And she knows how much I love Parliament because I used to play it when she was little, and that's where she's at. So it was dope. Like I said, wifey treated me good. Everything was good, man. Everything was smooth. I'm here, right? And if you out there are here tonight listening to this show, you made it through another weekend. Give it up for yourself. Another week. Dion in the chat room, he said, motherfucker on time. Absolutely. We were kind of on time. I was a minute or two off. Ewok said, OKC. I don't watch any basketball after the Bucks are out of it. I want OKC to win because I don't even know who's on the team, but I just hate the Pacers for what they did to my Bucks. So I'm not watching it, Ewok, but it is what it is. Shout out to you. Shout out to Dion. Y'all come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. I mean, a lot of people listen to the show after it's done. Some people listening while it's live. And some people are sneak listeners, which is also fine. We welcome you as well. We just want you to know that this is a show where it's a safe place for black men to talk that shit, and there's pertinent topics. It's not like we're just going to, talk about nothingness. These conversations usually are conversations that need to be had. And that's why I'm convicted by trying to bring that to my people. It was crazy over the weekend because the violence in Milwaukee is still hyper. I want people to understand, first of all, our city is not a large city in terms of large cities. We are probably like 32nd on the list of top 50. There's 550,000 people in Milwaukee. The city of Milwaukee is by far the largest city in this state, but this state is mostly rural, not urban. There are we probably make up as black people 8% of this state, and in upwards of 90% of that population, people of color, live in southeastern Wisconsin. The majority being in Milwaukee, which is a majority minority city. City is 45, 46, 47, 8% black. Foundational black Americans. And that's why, and I need to further say that probably 80% of the black population in Milwaukee lives on the north side of the city. There's an entire south side to this city that we historically have not been welcome to. And presently, there are some people who some of us choose because they are running from the decay of what's happening on the north side. They may move to the south side. They may move to a suburb, right? That I know some of us have moved as far as South Milwaukee because you get fed up with the violence because we're all within such close proximity of each other. And we've had violent weekends leading up to this. This weekend was no different. We get into this conversation on this show all the time. And what I want to be, I don't want to be the same kind of platform that's up here pointing my finger and blaming people and calling people names and saying bad things about them. Because I think in order to fix this, it's going to have to be a collective effort. You know what I'm saying? But when we look at our leadership in this city, there are some major, major flaws. In particular, and since last weekend, in which 4 people were shot right over here on Hampton, if you are on the northwest side of the city, you understand that. 46 in Hampton in particular, 4 people shot last weekend, 2 perished. Follow that up with a teen who was shot. And then we were on the show last Thursday, because last week we did a Thursday show. A police officer was shot in his leg, right? And then in that general area, there's been a couple other shootings, and they're young people. I don't want to say that this violence is kind of limited to young people, because if you read the stories, there's 47-year-olds, 51-year-olds, a 55-year-old was murdered this morning. So it's not just a problem that's, oh, well, it's just the young people, even though young people, our young brothers and sisters, are having some serious issues with their level of dysfunction. I'll put it like that. But it's also a problem that extends to us as what's supposed to be, like you say, the OGs. But we ask for reactions, Kamar. We ask for reactions all the time because we want the leaders to tell us what their solutions are, right? So last Thursday, when we were on the air and the 46-year-old, the police officer was shot by a 39-year-old, our mayor took to the airwaves. And what I want to do is I want to share his reaction, okay? I want to share his reaction, which I thought was absolutely hilarious. I still think it's hilarious. And hilarious in a way, in a way that it's like, okay, tell us something else. So can you see this, Kamar? Can you see this right here?
Yeah.
I'm going to play this. This is last week, Thursday evening, when a police officer was shot. Now, notice, like I said, there have been 2 murders prior to this. there's a lot going on in that area, and we hadn't really heard a response, but this was his response. Hold on. Let me get this back for you.
I'm very disappointed because the chief just talked. Disappointed. As a matter of fact, I'm very disappointed today. I'm very disappointed because the chief just talked about an officer who was shot. An officer who was shot when he was here helping out with patrols in this neighborhood when incidences have happened here and there's been need for police presence in this neighborhood, additional police presence. That's what he was here for. That's what he was here doing. And so I'm disappointed that he was shot. And further, I'm disappointed that he was shot by a man who's 39 years old. For real? For real? 39 years old? You're too damn old at 39 years old. You're too damn old. And worse, you got a 19-year-old kid with you while you're doing this. You're supposed to be a role model for this young man. You're supposed to be teaching him how to grow up to be a responsible adult. Yet the actions that you displayed are going to land you in jail for I don't know how many years. You'll be in prison. You're going to be behind bars for I don't know how many years.
Dog talking to the suspect. You're going to be in jail for I don't know how many years.
You are too damn old.
Hilarious. You could tell his shit wasn't scripted. You know what I'm saying? You're too old.
Too damn old. Kamar, this is an unfortunate situation, okay?
Definitely.
And violence is never a joke, right? Especially when it's us killing us. But his reaction to me, I laughed out loud when I seen it. You are too damn old.
Man, I laughed like a motherfucker when I seen that part, man. I thought that shit was hilarious.
And so, okay. Now, is it a lie that this individual is too old, right? He's too old to be out here on this shit. But it just seemed like the mayor's was kind of tone deaf on this. Like, yeah, 39 is too old, but do you know what's going on in your city? Are you tone deaf? You're from the city. You're from the north side. You're a man of color. You probably don't claim to be an FBA. That would probably be counterproductive to your position, but I got a feeling you probably are, somewhere down the line. I guess my issue is that was the first time I seen, it's not the first time, but it was a declaration of his passion and his frustration at what's going on in the city. And Kamar, we've said that a lot of times he comes off as too user-friendly. He's too affable. We in this city don't need a soft-spoken, soft shoe in a position of, we need somebody who's going to shake shit up. We need an ass-kicking mayor. And when those two people were murdered on Hampton, the weekend before, and 4 people were shot, that was a bloody weekend. I felt like that's when he should have came with the jism. You know what I mean? No Diddy. I felt like that's when he should have came and said, man, I'm sick of this. Like, but you're too damn old at 39. It shows me that I don't know if he really understands the people in the city.
No.
There's no age limit on dysfunction.
That's right. Hey, but you know what? Just to add to that, I made a video about old ass niggas with young niggas.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I did a video on that because that shit's foul too. Because he made a point right after that. Like, man, you're supposed to be a role model.
Right.
At this age.
Yes.
What the fuck you doing riding with him and y'all on destruction?
Right. Good point. Good point. But you're telling us something that we already know. This is the way our community works right now because we're dealing with generational poverty. So that 39-year-old is probably just as disenfranchised as that 14, 15-year-old. They're kindred spirits. It is the disease and the scourge that plagues our community. This abject poverty, this sense of desperation. We called it survival mode, right? And Milwaukee is not unique in the fact that, because we keep saying ain't no structure, ain't no structure, ain't no structure in the streets now. But I think this kind of shows that there's some semblance of it, because you got a big homie with a little homie, and he showed the little homie, hey, I gets down for mine. When they come, I'm letting this thing loose. So as a mentor to self-destruction, he was doing his job. He wasn't too old. He wasn't, because he had an audience. I think he should have been mixing strategy and logistics with his passion, because there's a need for a task force on the north side of Milwaukee. You can ignore it. You can come up with these, and I don't know. I feel like we blow a lot of money up a cow's ass with violence prevention. And I'm not speaking to 414 life or any of that. I'm saying the concept of violence prevention. Because we're putting it in places where it can't be utilized to the fullest. I think a lot of funds, I know my people are going to get mad at me, there needs to be some reorganization of funds to create situations where our law enforcement is able to do what they need to do, which is keep the neighborhood safe. When we talk about in the 7th district, there was a time last weekend, they had one police officer on duty. It is the largest district in this city, encompassing 200,000 people. All right. Blame to go around. We're understaffed. People aren't signing up. You just won a whole new layer of funding via the Tax Act, Act 12, where it was mandatory for the city to hire a certain amount of police. I want to know what you're doing with the resources that you have. Don't keep telling me what you don't have. I'm short staffed. No shit, Sherlock, because come on, we keep saying this shit is happening in a centralized area. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This area, as a police department, you have ShotSpotter, you have advanced technology. You now we see that they're trying to get these cameras. Y'all got to peep out. They're trying to get these cameras, saying we're going to do this so we can stop illegal dumping in the city. No. First of all, there's cameras everywhere anyways. There's cameras in street lights. There's cameras in red lights. Some shit will happen and you'll be watching the news and they'll say, the local surveillance. Where the fuck you think that camera was at? It's in the street light. It's in the red light. I just watched a city worker get struck by a vehicle today on 35th and Silver Spring. It was in the median, you ride past our Department of Public Works employees. They're planting flowers, beautification type things to keep the city looking at least kind of cute. He or she, I can't tell who it was. I don't have all the details. I don't know what gender it was. I don't know if it was a brother or sister, woman or man, but that employee was struck by a vehicle. But the whole thing is a camera somewhere that's got it on deck. So I guess my thing is, should we give you any more money when you're not utilizing what you have to the fullest? If you are an individual who represents the Milwaukee Police Department or you understand urban law enforcement, you are welcome to call the show. I love to be wrong. 262-202-5131. I see now that we have this Vision Zero traffic enforcement. There's more bump outs being built. As a matter of fact, my wife and I were riding on Saturday and we noticed that once you cross Mill Road and you're headed out 60th, now there's bump outs there all the way to Brown Deer. And it's like, whoa. But you know what I didn't see when I was riding? I didn't see any police. I seen bump outs. I didn't see police. If you look at the bump outs in the city of Milwaukee, there's automobile debris on almost all of them. So these individuals,
I don't think they had a cleanup plan.
What plan did they have?
Right. But I was one of the few people, like when they put the bump outs out, I was appreciative that they did anything, because like at that point they wasn't doing shit.
Right.
They wasn't chasing, they wasn't doing shit. So
Right.
you know what I mean? And you know, the other day I also said it's multiple levels. It's a lot of different shit that they're gonna have to do to get them to control this thing. But I just feel like let's create new sentences. You know what I mean? Creating harsh sentences for the shit can help.
Well, that's what Vision Zero is supposed to be about. It's a joint initiative with multiple departments being involved. There's a legislative part that comes from our district attorney, in which the severity of charges will change. There is now we're saying you see they're saying they're going to crack down on unlicensed drivers. It's multi-tiered, right? You can go and send the People's News Network. That is the solution they've rolled out for the traffic, and we'll see if it works.
Hey, I saw my bag. I ain't mean to change the subject, but I saw Earl. I see Earl Henning in the chat room, and I saw him in the chat room last night while we was on the thing. So Earl Henning saw the dinner.
Okay, that's what's up.
Yeah.
I may have seen it, but I probably didn't know what was going on.
Yeah,
so I kept scrolling. I'm like, what's this? I don't know. Boop. So I put it in the People's News Network. Put it in the People's News Network.
All right, I'll find it and get it there.
Yeah. But no, I'm saying. So now we have to, if we've addressed the traffic and the reckless driving, and now we have to turn our eyes to the violence. And I think it's something that nobody really wants to deal with or speak on because it's so complicated. Like you said, there's a bunch of different things that need to be done in order to kind of curb this issue. I think one of the fundamental things that needs to be done is we have to figure out a way within that $1.5 billion budget to put driver's education back in Milwaukee public schools. That has to happen. I think too many young people are going out learning how to drive, but not learning how to drive. Come on. They need to show them the film that they showed me in driver's ed. I don't know if you took driver's ed and MPS, but I did. And there's this particular video in which they show you all the most grotesque automobile accidents you've ever. I mean, legs laying in the people's arms, hands, people in crushed up cars. And I remember seeing this as a 15-year-old going on 16, like, shit, I don't even want to drive now. But it was all about teaching you what would happen if you were irresponsible as a driver. To be a legal vehicle operator is a privilege. People think it's a right. It's a privilege. It's something that you have to do in order to earn it, to be able to do it legally. So we need to put that back into our high schools. We put the police officers back in the high schools. I haven't heard a peep of anybody saying, can we please put driver's ed back in high schools? I haven't heard anybody say that. Come on, I learned on the old school simulators, right? They don't even have those.
Follow the rules. You learn how to follow the rules of the street.
Right. So it's all about solutions. And I'm looking because I want to remember, my memory is going to serve me when it's time to vote again. I'm saying this motherfucker did. I won't say on that one. I ain't really. You too damn old. Oh, okay. Was that a solution? I get it. Respect to him for his passion. Shout out to Maureen Bishop. She said, correct. Thank you, my sister, for tuning in. Y'all please share the show. Jason Vidili said, the blind leading the blind. Yes. Or are they blind? Blind to what? Are they nearsighted, or are they short-sighted, or are they, what stigma do they have? What's blocking their vision? Earl Henning said you can build a car from all the parts you find on the street. There's a brother who goes, he's a young brother, he goes to all these accidents, and he'll, instead of a microphone when he's reporting, he has an actual automobile part in his hand. And I look at it all the time, and I think it's fucking hilarious. Who's this in the chat room? Let me get the chat. Oh, Jeff Crape down in Texas, man. What it do? What's up, fam? How you doing, man? How you doing, Jeff? Shout out to you. Thank you for tuning in. Please share the show. So it's Outlaw Live, Outlaw Radio Live. It's nothing like really specific. So people, what are we talking about? Some of everything, right? Pretty much spreading it out. Just catching up because we haven't been on since last Thursday. Shout out to y'all who checked out the Thursday show. Please share this show. I have no complaints about the support we receive in the city because I think it's dope. how people really tune into the show and share the show. But yeah, so the violence is, but once again, I think there has to be at some point, y'all correct me if I'm wrong. I just said we're live, so it's nothing specific. So if you want to call in 262-202-5131, you can call in and share your opinion. If you want to maintain your anonymity, you can just be in the chat room. But where's the economic development plan? Can we get an anti-poverty initiative? I mean, really, really addressing poverty. I said this, and there's some people who agree with me and some people who don't. And I think that when you look at crime and you look at underserved communities and you look at disenfranchised communities and you look at wholesale dysfunction in any community, usually poverty is sitting right there next to it. I don't know how many times I have to say this to people. Poverty creates a different whole kind of perspective. Listen, you can preach all you want. You can tell me go to school all you want. But if I ain't got nothing to eat, if I'm not sure I'm going to have a place to lay my head, if I have no support system, I'm a wild out. And that's across racial lines. Go to an impoverished white area. Like I talked about the South Side. There are a lot of poor white people on the South Side. I know a lot of black people don't believe this, because I think a lot of black people think all white people are inherently rich, which is not the case. But poor white communities, trailer parks, there's projects on the South Side. There's a such thing called South Lawn, Kamar?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, on the South Side, yeah.
Yeah, we have North Lawn, West Lawn, Berryland. They have South Lawn. They have subsidized housing where poor white people are, and there's crime in their community. There's drug abuse. There's violence. There's assault, theft, robbery. When you put a group of poor people together and say y'all go, and then throw one pork chop out there and say y'all gonna fight over that little shit, the wolf's gonna come out. We have to develop an economic empowerment plan, and in particular, anti-poverty initiative. I don't know. I don't like to say I'm such a genius or I'm such a deep thinker. This shit is simple, Kamar. This is simple. There has never ever been a poor, positive community. There's never been a community that existed where everybody was poor and it was great. The good old days. No, in the black community where poverty exists, it's always been rape. It's always been murder. It's always been drug use. It's always been alcohol abuse. All those kinds of things. And I know people who are older like to say, well, you young kids, they doing the same thing we did. They're doing the same thing our forefathers did when they were painted into a corner and had to go into survival mode. So I think we collectively need to present a voice downtown and say, something has to be done about the level of poverty in this city. It's some money here, obviously, because they can go and find, I know business is business. Investors and businessmen and da-da-da-da-da. But in areas that they want to develop, it happens. How many luxury skyscrapers do we have? I mean, hotels, and how do new buildings and developments pop up everywhere? We still got 1.5 miles of vacant commercial property in the centralized city of Milwaukee, in communities that are predominantly black, and they're vacant buildings just sitting there, abandoned, and have been for 20, 30, 40 years. There's some buildings I could ride past in my car right now, Kamar, and I can legitimately say there has never been anything in this building since I've been alive. It's been vacant. I'm 49 years old. How is that possible? When you got a group of people living in this area who could be served. That's why I'm saying satellite police stations. If you don't have enough, when they say, Kevin, if we don't have enough to run District 7, how are we going to do satellite police stations? You need to figure that shit out. What the new officers that you just brought in. I guess my point is it's all excuses. It's like me not being able to fulfill the things that I need to do, and I'm just full of excuses. After a while, nobody don't give a fuck about my excuses, Kamar. They're gonna be like, all right, man, whatever. Well, Kamar, I would, but I can't. I would, Kamar, but they won't let me. It's what they're doing is obvious to me. I don't know if it's obvious to other people. Earl Henning says, what it do, my brothers? Chocolate milk love us. Earl Henning says, only development is downtown. It's a shitload of money being dumped downtown, and we don't even have a movie theater. Actually, there's really no mall in downtown Milwaukee anymore.
Nope.
But how many of us frequent downtown on a regular basis? Most of the things that they build down there are not for us or intended for us to even come there. Outside of the stadium, the Fiserv Center, I said the stadium, the arena, or some clubs or bars, or maybe a restaurant will pop up here and there. But even in that regard, when you go down there, I've been downtown on a hot night in the summer, and it's in full swing. Water Street is full of businesses. They're all white businesses. You know where the one black club is, and we go there until we fuck it up, and then they close it. So I get it. It's gentrification. I get it. Shout out to Rock. JC Terry, he said, why would an investor invest in trash? Well, I think that's what smart investors, that's what they do. They take something that's trash and make it into a treasure. But there has to be some demands to assist these business owners. In a city like this where the economy is so starved, there should be deals made, incentives placed for people to come here and invest. Man, we need a warehouse here. We need you go into the service industry. We need a processing facility. And also to these police, that's why I'm saying to our law enforcement, because the police can say they're short. At the same time, we have Milwaukee County sheriffs who are sitting in a park in some of the most devastated areas. And do they work together besides talking on the radio? There should be cooperative policing. We should be, but see, the county is pitted against the city, because when you say Milwaukee County, you're talking about the surrounding areas, and they're majority white. But if you're sitting in the city as a a sheriff deputy or whatever you want to call it, there has to be some collaboration between you and the Milwaukee Police Department, especially when they're short. If we're understaffed, there should be an immediate call put out to say, hey, y'all got any deputies over there we can spare? Because we have one officer on duty tonight. Now, if they say, well, we short too, now we really got a fucking problem. And the leaders of each one, the city and the county, need to be taken to task. Just throwing it out there. JC said, ask Keith. Shout out to Keith Terry. I've had many discussions with Keith about the difficulties of developing the inner city, redeveloping the inner city. And I know Keith has fought the good fight. And it would be dope if he was on here just to give us some of the real ism on it. But I think the city has to support and develop an initiative that encourages businesses to invest in the city, because it's been sitting. These properties have been sitting. Man, we got more daycares. I always think about when Chris Rock came to Milwaukee years and years ago, and he said, all y'all got is daycares and shoe stores. All you niggas do is fucking run. And storefront churches. 7 churches on the same block that are of different denominations that don't even work with each other.
Right.
In the most dysfunctional communities. You know what I mean? So we need some forward thinking, outside the box leadership. Once again, I guess that's what, when I heard the mayor speak, and if you didn't hear it, I played the mayor's response to the police officer being shot on 46th and Hampton, or in that general area, if I don't have the street correct. And well, he had a little pastor and he said, you too damn old. But I didn't hear anything else. I didn't hear any. He did say, well, he was over there patrolling because there's some things going on over there. And, they needed it. Yeah. But y'all got ran out. Your man got popped. Get the fuck up out of here. there's a deeply rooted issue there that needs to be dealt with. I'm one who loves to discuss solutions, right? I try my best not to come on here and be a know-it-all or be a person who has to be right. You know, I don't have to be right. If I say something wrong, or if I don't understand an issue, or if I need to get some clarity on the situation that will lead to solutions, I'm open to it. Just don't call a platform and disrespect nobody. Your ass won't get hung up on. Earl Henning said this is white Wisconsin. Yeah, but this is black Milwaukee. It's black Milwaukee. I did say 45% black. That's not even counting them, the Latinos. The city is a minority. You got a group of people who have been in this community for a very long time. And in a lot of cases, it's because we couldn't go nowhere else in terms of, you know, where you could move and live and raise your family. And economically, if our median income is $29,500 and theirs is $60,000, that's a huge disparity. If our ownership in a community that we've occupied, the north side, we've been on the north side of Milwaukee since we jumped off those trains, those buses and trains in 1950, fleeing Mississippi via the Great Migration. So that's from 1950 to 2025. That is, if my math is correct, 75 years, right? So in 75 years, we have not been able to centralize our power, because our money, since this city is also the largest tax revenue generator and the city is majority minority, that tells you who are the spenders. It's us. That's why they went to us with that tax hike and got $200 million. This is the city of Milwaukee. This ain't Milwaukee County. The city of Milwaukee, $200 million, and 90% of it went to pension plans for city workers. Pardon my French, but I don't give a shit about no Milwaukee city worker. I'm sorry. That's tax revenue. That's generated by us. And you steadily play with the property tax levy, which puts the pressure on those of us who do own something. I get it. It's a big bowl of gentrification. I don't want us to just eat it up, Kamar. I feel like we need to be way more vocal about it, and we need to be putting more pressure on those who sit in these seats. Just like I said, if you're mad about MPS, know who you should be mad at, which is your school board, not the mayor. I'll blame him when it's some city shit. I'll point my finger at him when it's something that the city actually has dominion over. They don't control MPS. The school board does, and the people who sit on the school board are elected officials. And I would ask any parent, your child go to MPS? Yes. Who is your representative? Who represents you on the school board? They don't know. They don't know. So some of these wounds are self-inflicted, but I don't want to focus on that. I know I started off by saying it was a good weekend and I was happy to be here. I'm just saying, man, like it's an editorial on what's going on in the city, man. I get frustrated because I'm like, my people just like we get rowdy about the wrong shit. Come on. Like if a cop shoots a young black man tonight, justified or unjustified, we ready to go to the motherfucking mattresses, right? Which is justified because egregious police behavior has been way too consistent in our community as well. That's why there's a need for, law enforcement reform and things like that. But we will look up for that. We ready to go. But when something slides right past us, like, hey, you just got $200 million from y'all, made your life more expensive, told you we had to do this, save us from the fiscal cliff. You gave up stuff. You beat Trump to the punch in saying, okay, we won't talk about nothing in terms of my CRT or DEI. Milwaukee gave that up before Trump was even elected via this Act 12 tax increase. Y'all come on in, man. Let's talk turkey tonight. Let's talk like grown people. I know it's cool to be ratchet sometimes, Kamar. I'm with the ratchet shit sometimes. I digs, right? Sometimes we gotta have real grown-up people conversations, though. Like
balance.
Yeah. Nobody can be righteous all the time. I'm sorry.
Indulge a little bit.
Right. Go and keep the party. Even Jesus turned the water into wine. Oh, party ain't over. Y'all keep pimping. So I'm joking. Obviously, I'm joking. What else did we notice? Oh, immigration with Trump, right? So the latest out of Washington is that he's now saying, whoa. You know what? We might want to slow the deportation of migrant farmers and workers. We ain't gonna really run up in them places because business owners are complaining to him. What are you doing? What are you doing? Okay. And that's why all my people say, "Okay, man, fuck them Mexican, man, fuck them Latino, all that shit, whatever." Because I heard some people, and I think they were kind of giving us a lightweight response to our take last week on Thursday, Kamar, about really having some empathy for people who are being affected by these Gestapo ICE raids. Like, I understand the need to control illegal, immigrants and to control the border, and there's nothing wrong with stating that, but it's not about what you do; it's about how you do it. And like I said, a lot of this can be straightened out by understanding that some of these people are naturalized at this point, and they are contributing to our economy. They are working, and they're working jobs that myself as a small business owner, I need that labor. Because if I don't have them, the cost of this shit finna shoot through the roof, and my business is gonna go to hell.
Yeah.
Right? As a business owner, your main mission is to do all that you can to keep your costs low so that it won't be passed along to the consumers, right? Because if your costs go up, Kamar, as a business owner, everybody else got to pay. It's like, man, I ain't getting this shit like that no more, y'all. And then people say, no, he won't. And then there go your business, right? So our economy is a system. It's not just one single thing. You know what I mean? You got to consider all the factors of it. And so, and this is once again not me putting on a cape for Latino people or illegal immigrants, because like I say, if you are illegal, then you know what's on deck for you. But I do believe that people who are here illegally, you have to consider how they are here illegally. If I didn't sneak across the border and I'm a criminal fleeing law enforcement in Mexico, say I snuck into this country 30 years ago, went to the community, buckled down, went to work, just wanted to raise my family in better conditions than I came from, and we are not actively criminals. We're not with the cartel. We're citizens for all intents and purposes. Streamline their ability to become legal. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I just think it should be done differently. But I think it's funny that Trump now comes back and says, and then now he's going to, what is it, the G4 summit? So now we're talking about the global economy and trade deals, and, he got to go in there and eat crow, because he called a couple, like China. He called them and they said, nah, motherfucker. No. You ain't bullying us. So what's going to be that? Do I want him speaking for me? I don't.
Doubt it.
White man. He has no understanding of what the people on the bottom of this thing are dealing with. But I did think it was funny. Now he did. Okay. So over the weekend, another thing, I don't know if you paid this any attention, the No King protests. Millions of people across this country in major cities protested because of his behavior in trying to become an American dictator. And I don't know. I don't care whether you pro-Trump or anti-Trump or you Republican or Democratic. This is what his pursuit. He said it. I'm going to be a dictator. And so this military march that he had, which goes on at the same time as these marches across the country, from what I'm hearing, the show people didn't really come because he tried to say, well, this is actually celebrating the Army's birthday. Just happened to be on his birthday. $45 million in taxpayer money. When he's cutting jobs, he's cutting federal jobs, he's cutting people. And I heard my brother talking about how good he's been to the veterans. He's cutting the VA down. So enjoy it while you can, Brother Muhammad. So I love the fact that I see these people taken to the street, and you know who they were, Kamar? Because see, we talk shit about the Latinos, right? We should have been saying this about the No King joint. Black people stand down. Let these white people get out here. the ones who voted for him overwhelmingly, and now they're realizing that they voted against their own interests. Let them go do that shit. We got Juneteenth to plan for, right? But we didn't say that, and I don't think we had to. I think it's kind of understood now that black people just chilling. We're watching, we're taking notes. But so I don't have the exact count of how many people actually marched for the No King protest. I did not march, but protested. But at some places like Chicago, here in Milwaukee, at Cathedral Square Park, it was packed. This many people can't be wrong. All you geniuses who love Trump, this many people could not possibly be wrong, right? It's time, like people. Well, I just said black people, they always try to find a reason to go after Mr. Trump. There's a lot of reasons to criticize Mr. Trump. My problem is that even if you like him, you should be open to admitting that he's fucked up in the head. Like you should be crazy, but that, like, come on, if you got a crazy homeboy who be off the chain, and somebody be like, man, come on, so you say, man, that dude crazy. Say,
man, that's crazy. That's Crazy Kirk, man. We give him that nickname and shit. We know that nigga crazy.
Right. And that's the homie though. He is a wild nigga though, but that's the homie. But you can admit that he's crazy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I just feel like people become so they fall in love with Trump. Like they want to defend him. And anytime you call them on a specific issue, they go to tap dancing. They all have one thing in common. And he does this too. None of them ever actually answers a direct question.
Nope. With all that delusion, you can't.
Right. So it just becomes very difficult. And that's why I said I've gotten mentally tired speaking with black people who love Trump so much. And my thing is, why do you believe that this dude is good for us? You know what I'm saying? But I will go on record as saying, as a platform, we have long stated what would happen when he took office, which would be political upheaval. And I said my faith lied in the people. I said Americans are not going to just take this. The people going to take to the streets. There's going to be mass protests. And what's happening? 6 months in, what's happening? Even I didn't think it would happen this fast. But he moved fast, so the people reacted fast. So, I mean, it's a whole deal, man. Earl said, who will wash the dishes? Like, I put this on TikTok, and shout out to everybody who's rocking with our TikTok page. Yeah, you say that, and I feel like there's a lot of humor in that, but there's also a lot of reality in that. Wash the dishes being a metaphor for jobs that your ass don't want to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of us got our ass on our shoulders. We're a little uppity. I ain't finna do that for how much? Shit. Were they looking at it like, no, I don't. I'm gonna do what I gotta do. I do what I gotta do. Like, because it was much worse where I came from. So you say who will wash the dishes? Not just the dishes. It's a lot of things you don't pay attention to that get done because we don't do them. Other people are doing them. So yeah, it's funny. Well, damn, who gonna wash the dishes? Who gonna cut the grass? Who gonna pick the fruit? Who is going to pick the fruit? You like fresh fruit, don't you? You like oranges? We like the oranges, apples, watermelon, all these crops. Who gonna pick them? We ain't picking them. We left the South. We became anti-agricultural because of the conditions that come with working those jobs. So who's gonna do it? If this person is not a criminal, if this person is not doing something counterproductive to the people around him or her, if they have been here traveling the South and the Southwest, picking things that you just get the cherry in the store and think is sweet. Grab some grapes off that thing. Hey, I will go give me a cucumber and a tomato and I want organic lettuce. Who the fuck do you think is picking this shit? Excuse my French. I didn't mean to get upset. We just have to be realistic with ourselves. And people say, well, no, this is not, I'm looking at, I'm against illegal immigrants too. But and this is not xenophobe. This is not xenophobia. It absolutely is. I hear black people saying we upset with them because they taking our jobs. Which of our jobs are Latinos taking? You gonna say, man, I'll pick some grapes. Your ass won't even pick no grapes. Go ahead, brother.
I feel like they're only illegal because them people call them legal. They made a law that made them illegal. You know what I mean? That's the only reason they're illegal. Really, you got a group of people that's coming here trying to work their way up the food chain. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody else. They come, they take the grunt work jobs, you know what I mean, get paid the pennies. They save some of it and send some back home to take care of their families. I mean, and then that ain't the shit that we, like you said, them ain't the jobs we want. You know, they was paying them motherfuckers like $5 an hour to pick fruit. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody finna work like that. And then I was watching one video where they had it was a farmer on there, and it was a bunch of farmers actually. And they were saying Americans don't work hard enough. They can't work hard enough. They can't they can't do it right. You know what I'm saying? So they ain't even gonna work out. And they're gonna want more money. You know what I mean? A lot more money. They ain't just taking minimum wage. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So they take away under minimum wage, they willing to take it because they know they can't do nothing else, really. You know what I'm saying? And again, they only illegal because these people made a law about it. I think it should just be a problem with the criminals.
Okay, I'm with you on that, but I do understand, because I'm not politically naive. I do understand that establishing citizenship is the legal way to do it correctly.
Right.
And
but you know, they sending people back while like they going to court about their shit.
That's part of it. But I do say there should be some concessions made. Like this is not just a black and white issue.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like there should be some concessions made. Like that's why I said it's not what you do, is how you do it. This does not put me in a situation where I'm just crying tears for them. Right. Because for so long we have had to deal with this same kind of egregious behavior from people who, lawmakers and politicians and, you know, wealthy white Americans, and they have to eat it up like we did. But I do recognize it, and my heart has not grown so cold that it doesn't hurt me to see little children being taken out of elementary schools by, you know, paramilitary units. That's what ICE really is looking like right now. And now they added, well, put masks on because they want to protect their identity. This adds to the fear. Well, a little kid look up and see this dude with all these. Come on, man. Now, once again, it's people say, Kev, that's intentional. And it probably is. And this is how they've done us for so long, right? You know what? We live with these images. We live in communities where we feel like we're under siege and we're laying low at night, like, man, these motherfuckers could bust up here and at any given time coming looking for me. I'm on edge. I don't know what the hell is going on. So we get it. And I'm sure they'll figure it out because they have solidarity. Right. Dion said Trump is pure trash. He said he has sparked political violence. Earl Henny said, I do what I have to do. Yeah, I do too in most cases, you know, but I can't do everything. Earl said, need a new roof. Who will be able to make it happen? Well, once you get rid of all of the Latinos, then you'll go to there's some white-owned roofing companies.
I got a homeboy that owned the Coven Roofing Company. He's black-owned. They black-owned, the Coven Roofing. I got a homeboy. So if you need your roof done, go to the Coven Roofing.
Right. That's what I just said. So there's white-owned, and I'm sure there's some black ones too. But I mean, for the best deal and for the best efficiency and speed, can't argue, man. You can't argue. Slumdog $20. He said, honestly, I haven't seen one video of a black ICE officer. I'm sure there's some, but I'm with you, my brother. Shout out to you. Welcome to the show. Please share the show. Everybody who's on YouTube, please share the show. But I don't know who's black or white now because they got on masks and they got glasses on. You know, we seeing even now that the court has backed the state of California in. Trump wasn't even supposed to be able to legally deploy the National Guard. He still did it. This is what the mayor of California, the governor of California was so upset about. Like, dude, he's not supposed to be doing it.
Hey, this motherfucker, he deployed them and didn't have no living quarters set up for him.
Right.
So they down in a big ass warehouse, the floor and shit, sleeping.
Come on, man. So if people say, why are you critical of him? These are some of the reasons why. Like I put my own personal vitriol to the side, my own personal opinion of him, and I live in a space where I recognize a white nationalist when I see him or her, and I understand what their agenda is. They exist to improve the status and position of white people, right? That's what they do. It's just how they move. It's like, I'm a black nationalist, so I want to encourage the empowerment and enlightenment of black people. That's how I feel. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times just calling this out and saying this and stating the obvious, you're met with super black intellectuals who have, or semi-pseudo intellectuals who have this great understanding of politics that you don't possess. They know so much more about the economy than you do. And they'll tell you, hey, you don't know what you're talking about. They do what Trump done. Until you say, is he not a white nationalist? Has he not done a bunch of boneheaded shit that shows and proves where he stands? Oh, Trump like black people because we like him because he got felonies. Are you serious? That's your argument? Come on. If you believe that, I got a very large luxury cruise liner to sell you for $5.
And felonies don't make you cool either.
No, that's it. Why do we celebrate bullshit like that? Come on, we down with you because you got 34 felonies that range from sexual harassment to fixing and trying to juke elections. Like, I love y'all. I love my people, but sometimes we worry about, or we are concerned with the wrong shit. That's entirely true. But yeah, so this won't stop. This won't stop. Once again, the road to solutions with this involves paying attention to midterm elections. And making sure that we can offset the balance of power. Like, his party must pay for him, for his behavior. So there needs to be a blue wave, but people right now are not feeling the Democrats. I mean, I see so much stuff online. I watch into the outlets that I watch that I depend on to kind of help me develop some commentary for the show. The Democrats people are just like pissing on the Democrats right now. And for whatever reason, the Democrats have not been able to present a candidate that's going to polarize people. Right? Like, I feel like the Democrats kind of approach this from, politics by numbers, right? Just add water. I don't feel like they're bringing up the individuals that they need to get it done. Like, I just referenced our mayor. He's probably one of the most affable dudes you ever met in your life. He doesn't come off to me like he's just an asshole, but he seems very, very, very mundane. He seems very, very much an establishment Negro. I feel like he might be a go along to get along. And that might not be true, but it seems like that to me because I don't hear anything radical, revolutionary, or groundbreaking come out of his office. I'm not being presented with not revolutionary in the sense of the Panthers, but I'm saying revolutionary in the sense that it changes the game. I'm not hearing things come from downtown that make me say, wow, that's tight right there. Now that's unique. That's what we should be doing. Sometimes it feels like, and once again, correct me if I'm wrong, Kamar, it feels like he may have handlers. Like, hey man, this is what you need to do. It's a very bad position to be in as a people. Now we also have coming up Juneteenth. This has become very controversial in itself because this year there's actually an extension of Juneteenth at the lakefront because and I want to tell people, first of all, Milwaukee is one of the first cities to ever do Juneteenth 50 years ago, to ever present a Juneteenth Day celebration. And it was unique, but it shows that there's a cultural epicenter here. And it has been for a very long time because we have this Black community that was forced into a certain area and told, y'all can't leave that motherfucker. But Juneteenth used to go until late in the evening. It used to go until 10, 11 o'clock at night. But, due to some mitigating factors, now by 4 p.m., y'all got to get the fuck up out of here. And so for me, at first, Kamar, now you're a businessman, you're a Black man. You tell me, I thought this was a good idea because I felt like those vendors who set up at Juneteenth every year and reap the benefits should be given preference in going right. Hey, we ain't done yet. We finna go right down to Summerfest and set up a booth. I feel like it should have been, I don't know how inclusive it is, but I seen that there's a Taste of Juneteenth celebration in which they'll have selected vendors. This is prior to, I think the ticket is $100, where you're going to be able to go and eat from all these select, I guess, Black businesses. Taste of Juneteenth. I felt like extending it to the lakefront would be dope if you said, okay, now when we go down there, we're going to have some national artists booked. We're going to have voter registration booths. We're going to have medical booths where you can go and get your blood pressure tested and all this kind of stuff. Like, make it party with a purpose is what we used to call it. And then in addition to some Black vendors who normally wouldn't be able to afford that vendor fee. I don't know how this is going to look, but where are you at as an entrepreneur about them extending Juneteenth down to the lakefront this year?
Well, I mean, I'm on both sides. I see both sides, right? On one end, I don't like it because I feel like they just doing it to pull some money out of our community. Charging $20 to get in, damn near. I don't know. I see Earl Hennig saying 19 to get into Summerfest on the 19th of June, but I don't know. But 19 is basically $20, right?
Okay.
I feel like vendors, different restaurants and Black restaurants, they ought to just be giving them spots in those different buildings, different spots down there. Give them some spaces. You know what I mean? We supposed to off of this shit. This is our shit. You know what I mean? So I just think they need to figure out more ways for us to benefit. I don't know how they doing the vendor thing. I ain't talked to nobody or nothing, but I would imagine that for their vendor costs, like the Summerfest grounds normally do. So maybe I'm against it. You know what I'm saying? I do like the fact that it's extended and you do have the opportunity to hang out longer. You know what I'm saying? If you want to, but yeah, man. And it's a do it, right? Cause see, shit be happening at the other Juneteenth and that shit could carry over to the next one.
Okay. So you as a businessman who operates out of the Sherman Phoenix, which is widely known as a place that is Black entrepreneur friendly. This is like a fertile ground for Black entrepreneurs to start, a starting point for them to say, okay, I want to build this up, right? How is there no connection? How have you all not been approached by the organizers and say, hey, Sherman Phenix?
That's why I feel like it's more about a dollar.
Okay.
You know what I mean? They figuring out a way to get some money off of us. They've been seeing how Juneteenth been popping, so they're imagining that it might be like that on the Summerfest grounds.
But there's some mitigating factors here.
Or maybe they can get people to switch over to go. You know how Black people gravitate to the white people shit.
Right. Well, okay. Now I got a couple. Okay. I love this. William L. Morris. We don't do emojis. I don't read them, so I don't know what they mean. This is a sad face, I'm guessing.
I think that's disappointed at that shit,
okay.
Right?
Okay, help me out.
I think that's what he said. He's
disappointed
in this shit.
He said 12 might, then 10. Okay. I think he's talking about vendors who might get an opportunity. Earl Henning said $19 to get into Summerfest on the 19th of June. Now, Earl, is that a suggestion that you're making, or is that the actual price of admission?
I heard 20.
William Morey says, if you look at Juneteenth, it's held on MLK in Milwaukee. More than 50% of the vendors are nonprofits. Ask them to be transparent and show who's there. And you can even see for yourself when you go down there. It's older than 50 years. It's 50 years under Northcott's umbrella. I thought that in the city it was 50 years. I don't know. I'm open to correction. But you just made a very important point. Because Northcott, if you understand who Northcott Neighborhood Development Center, House, whatever they're identifying as Northcott, they are involved in this. They have their hands in this very deeply. And I want to go, and this is something that I should have done prior to the show. I should have gone to their website to see if there's anything up in terms of how to become a vendor or what the actual businesses of this will be. But I do think it's a valid point that when he said 50% of the vendors are nonprofits, this is very true, because there are a lot of nonprofits and social service agencies who do set up booths down there.
Yeah. They booths are a lot cheaper at Juneteenth. Now, I know when I went the last time I did Juneteenth, they wanted like $360 or something like that.
Okay.
To win down there, right? Now, that's worth it down there because they got so much traffic. But then, like at Summerfest, I was offered the opportunity. It was something going on down there, and I was offered the opportunity to win. And they wanted, I think they was trying to tell me they wanted like $1,000 or something like that to win. And then, nigga, you got to use their POS system. So they want 30% of your profits if you sell food or drinks. Hell no, I'm not going. That shit ain't worth it. And that's why I say, like, if they planning on running that game, you know what I'm saying? That shit ain't gonna work.
Shout out to William Morris. He says, back in the day, Juneteenth was celebrating not only the emancipation of the freedmen and former slaves, it was also celebrating Black entrepreneurship. And so what we saw was a plethora of Black businesses that you got to know through Juneteenth Day. Not only was it a large marketing networking festival, it also brought in a lot of people from around the United States and the world. Yeah. And the beginnings were before Northcott had it and would make it older than 50 years. Somebody said, what was the one? I thought it was 50 years here in Milwaukee. I know that Juneteenth itself is older than 50 years, but I thought the first Juneteenth, the celebration was held in Milwaukee 50 years ago. Somebody Google the first Milwaukee Juneteenth Day celebration so we can get right and exact with the facts. That's important to this. First, because I remember seeing one from 1977, which Alderman Roy Neighbor Sr. was talking about, why they fought so hard to get Juneteenth Day in Milwaukee. And I never knew that brother had been that real, like, politically savvy and I didn't know he was that revolutionary, but he made a lot of great points. That video always pops up every year, so I'm sure it will pop up again. We do have a caller on the line. Caller, you are live on Outlaw Radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, my name is Dion. I'm calling from the north side of Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Man, how many numbers do you have? How many numbers do you have, Dion?
I only got 2 numbers, man. I only got this one and my other number that you know. I called you from this line before, though.
I know, but normally when you call me, your name pops up, and sometimes you'll call me, and I'm like, "Who the hell is this? What's on your mind, man?"
Hey, man, how you guys are doing, man? Just happy that we got an After Father's Day edition of Outlaw Radio. Just to come on here and vent. This be therapeutic, man. Really not too much, man. Just sit back listening to, we was texting over the weekend, so I was just trying to get your output on a lot of things, a lot of violence that occurred. Soon as, like, the next day, that night, shit, motherfuckers that got killed as soon as you got off the phone. And I just remember you was just like, oh my, what was it? Oh my God, or something about the city,
Right, that was
man,
the
just
show.
always tuning in, man. Just always tuning in, man. After you guys had a productive Father's Day, I really don't celebrate this type of festivities, but I'm a dad as well, so but unfortunately my daughter is not in her right state of mind. But that's neither here nor there. I'm just glad that the people that I know had a good one and had a chance to hang out with their family. I did a little something. I hung out with moms yesterday. I don't really go down there and see her too much like I should. You know what I'm saying? I hung out with her and just spent the block a couple, went and hollered at some of the guys, Because like I told you, one of my guys that I know from the neighborhood, he worked at the city also, and he died. So, I just went down there and gave the guys some wisdom and knowledge. Like we need to, as we get older, just take care of our health. And other than that, but this Juneteenth thing, is what we talking about this last year, though, man. And I think and I was upset about them wanting to take it down in the Summerfest. Now, I don't know, Kim. You might have to go look, you might have to go look at some of your past shows, but I thought that you was like, well, this is a good thing, and it's getting exposure. And I was like, all they trying to do is capitalize off of us. When they see black people doing something that's making some money, they little greedy white hands get the rubbing together. They're like, well, let's capitalize off this. The niggas, they got down there on 3rd Street. They done had it for free. Maybe we can capitalize off of this. And
so let me run this.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
Let me run this down.
Go ahead,
let me run this down. Because it's about facts over feelings on our show. So,
okay.
Milwaukee's first Juneteenth celebration was in 1972, marking the first time the holiday was celebrated in a northern city. It was organized by the Northcott Neighborhood House, a community center, and took place in the Harambee neighborhood. Despite some rain, the inaugural 12-hour festival was attended by over 3,000 people, according to the organizers of the event. The event was spearheaded by Margaret Rogers, who had experienced Juneteenth celebrations in Georgia, and Northcott staff members like Marvin Hanna and Jan Kemp Cole. The goal was to revitalize the neighborhood, and the celebration was seen as a positive step in that direction. Over the years, Milwaukee's Juneteenth celebration has grown significantly, becoming one of the largest and oldest in the nation. The celebration now includes a parade, music, food, and various other activities, attracting hundreds of thousands of attendees. So that would make it 53, the celebration of 53 years in Milwaukee. And that also places Northcott Neighborhood House as the sole organizers from the beginning. So there was a little misinformation there. My brother said that it was actually older than 50, which he was correct on, but he said it was established and Northcott had nothing to do with it. Well, that's not actually accurate. Northcott has always been, they were the original organizers of it. And it runs right through their area if you know where Northcott Neighborhood House is. Let me see. Tiarsha, how you doing, Tiarsha? She said, good afternoon, Kev, Kamar, and the Outlaw family. Listening to the show at work. Shout out to you. Tiarsha, please share the show. Earl said they didn't do it for African World Festival. They're not going to do it for Juneteenth. And actually Afrofest, we found out later on that it's really a what they call it, a clusterfuck. And they fucked off the funding for it, but that's a different show. Earl Henny said when Nationals were still a grocery store on King Drive, which I don't even remember, Earl. Shout out to Sharita Shaw. She said over 50 years. I believe it made 50 years in 2021. My daughter participated in the 50th parade. 53 is how old it is. 1972. Once again, in 1972 was the first time we had it, and we were the first northern city to celebrate it. Shout out to you, Sharita Shaw. Please share the show. She said her daughters participated in the 50th. Okay, which would be 3 years ago. She said 2021, but it's 2022. Mama Jenkins, how you doing? She said good evening in Mississippi, but I think it was in 1971. You are close, Mama Jenkins. It was 1972, the first time they had it here in Milwaukee. Tiasha says someone that is on the board said collaborating with Summerfest will give the different singers and bands a chance to grow revenue. I say just set up different stages like they do at Garfield Days. Maybe we can give Snoop another declaration, and this time he'll stay long. He came last year for Potawatomi and got the fuck out of Dodge. They gave him a declaration. Come on. She said, okay, 2022 made it 50th year. Okay. Earl said Northcott from day one. Yes, Northcott from day one. So how are they handling it? Northcott was it seems like this, and I don't live in that area, and I don't want to, I've worked in social services and nonprofit and workforce development and education for the last 23 years, almost in that order. But Northcott used to do a lot more. I don't know what they do in that particular neighborhood. I know it's still open. It still operates. There's some programming there. But I think there's way more social service agencies now. And I think they kind of were one of the OGs, SDC, Northcott, what was it? CYD, the Urban League, the NAACP. And then now we just have so many other agencies that fight for that same, for all intents and purposes, grant money. But yeah, and last year, you're right, Dion. I don't have to go back and watch the show over. I did say I thought it could be beneficial, but it depends on how the contract is drawn up. Because like Kamar just stated, we're talking about giving people a discount on vendor fees. We're talking about relaxing some of the charges and the costs that you would charge bigger businesses. You curve that for small entrepreneurs. You give them a chance to go down there and represent. And I think it is ingenious to say now we have the Summerfest grounds. We can do a better job of attracting national acts. See, I think it's funny that black people complain about the city just wants some of our money about Juneteenth, but ain't nobody saying nothing about the goddamn $200 million that they just took 90% of. They're not complaining about that, but we mad about Juneteenth. I think people who are in the spirit should have, let's go down to the lakefront and celebrate. There should be so much culture down there after June. I'm talking about dancers, singers, bands, African music, African jewelry. Like, you should be able to go down there and get a spear, a shield, and some sandals and be as African as you want.
But a lot of people would be against that because that's almost like DEI. Then they gonna want to integrate other cultural things in there too. So you gotta understand. You don't know this enemy by now that we dealing with, man. You don't know this enemy by now. I don't know, Kev. You know what I'm saying? We dealing with a goddamn shiesty enemy. You know what I'm saying? Them people incorporate other nationalities up in there, and it's just more than just about black liberation. It's about liberation.
Did you not just hear me say Northcott Neighborhood House, which is a foundational Black American organization, or initially, I don't know who actually sits on their board now, have been the organizers of this, and they are really important to the fact that it's now going to be at Summerfest. So you're saying the enemy, and you know who we up against? These are black people involved. There are black people involved here. How's this DEI?
Man, do you know how many black people have certain things?
How is having a cultural festival in which you welcome the people who are part of that culture DEI? I think you the one, y'all programmed by this mass media talking about DEI and labeling everything DEI, and this some shit you heard them say. This ain't got nothing to do with DEI. Right. Kamar, you believe?
I ain't heard them say nothing.
Well, let me ask Kamar, do you believe the addition of trying to say, because first of all, they extended MLK a couple years ago, remember? They extended it a couple blocks. Right. Do you think this is DEI related to say you as a small business person or an entrepreneur some concessions shouldn't be made so that you can go down there and set up and make some money and spread your business?
I don't think DEI got nothing to do with that. I just feel like they trying to get our money.
Okay. Of course. Yeah, they're trying to get some money. Yeah. Well, that's what business is, right? Get money. And the city it's a business to run a city as well. Like, we would be naive if we thought
in the Summerfest grounds, they run a business a certain type of way. You know what I mean? So that's why I highly doubt that it would be any kind of discounts or just because, you're a black business.
Well, once again, we would have to look in to see how things. I don't have inside information on how this. I don't know. I should have done more research, but I really didn't think this would. I didn't think this topic would develop legs like this, so I apologize for that. But we should be able to go. I should be able to pull up something from Northcott and get all the details of this.
Oh, Northcott might have had nothing to do with the Summerfest grounds, is what I'm saying.
No, they are involved in it. They are. That's what I'm saying. They have the Taste of Juneteenth, which is a pre-Juneteenth Day event. That's $100 a ticket, and there's selected vendors where you can go if you pay the $100, and you'll be able to go and eat and, you know, partake in whoever those vendors are. So Northcott is directly, they are part of the directors. You go through Northcott when it comes to Juneteenth Day. That's their baby. So
at the Summerfest ground.
Yeah, because that's just an extension of it. That's just, I don't think Summerfest came to them. I think they went to Summerfest and said, hey, can we do something? I thought, Kamar, once again, I'm not right about everything, but I thought that this would be a good thing because I felt like Juneteenth Day shouldn't have to end at 5 o'clock. But you know damn well, it really ain't safe to be where it's at once it gets dark.
Even down there.
Well, it's safer than it is to be in some spaces. I think it's a little bit safer. Maybe not. I don't know.
I could see them little motherfuckers still fighting and shit.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's coming.
Fighting and shit.
Oh, that's coming.
Well, Tim, this is the only thing I can say. And maybe I might be right or maybe I might be wrong. But I'm telling you this. When other people see the thing, I don't know. Sometimes I get frustrated because you act like you don't know corporations that went and got loans from white people, and the next thing you know, white people took that shit over. And it was a black founded business, and next thing you know, matter of fact, BET, not Johnson & Johnson, the Jerry Curl factory. I forgot what the name of it was, but it was located in Chicago. The man that had Ebony, the man that had Jet magazine. So you know what I'm saying? So when you making a deal with the devil, which is these white people, you know what I'm saying? Because that's who Summerfest is. Whether Northcott went down there on their hands and knees or they thought about like, hey, we want to incorporate the whole city of Milwaukee up in there. But you know what I'm saying? So now when you got other people that's sitting on a board and these people are because a lot of people just don't feel like black people should have it. You'll see white people like, why do they have a Juneteenth? It's not a white holiday. It's not a white history month. But look, I don't know nothing.
You know what? Opinion. You know what's funny? You know what I think is funny is that you say I act like I don't know something about how businesses done took over. And then you reference some shit that's not even relevant. Because first of all, when it comes to Ebony magazine and its founder, John H. Johnson, which I read his autobiography years ago, no white people ever took it over. It went out of business and it was sold off. And now there's actually a black organization that owns it. So that's strike one on your argument. And number two, you brought up BET. BET was not taken. It was sold by Robert Johnson to Viacom. And the object of starting a business with your own money is to get to the point where, especially when you get upwards in age and somebody says, I'll give you $3 billion, you put into your business for that very moment. That is the nature of business in this country. That ain't white or black. Now, it just so happens that white organizations happen to have more capital and access to more capital to come in and purchase your business. But you can hold out. You can say, nah, man, look at Famous Amos Cookies, right? He made so many bad business deals that he died broke. He had a multi-million-dollar business. Nobody took it from him. He gave it away. He was misled. He was a bad businessman. He made bad investments. He put his business in debt by doing things he shouldn't have done. More importantly, if anybody believes that they're going to give access to Summerfest grounds and not make some money off of it, you're being naive. You think Festa Italiana and Mexican Fest and even Pride Fest don't pay? They pay like they weigh. It's business. So it's not about me. I don't know the nature of white business and how white businesses come take black businesses. That sounds silly. And nobody has that perspective. Now check this out. The Juneteenth Day celebration extending to the Summerfest grounds in Milwaukee is a collaboration between the Northcott Neighborhood House and Summerfest. Northcott Neighborhood House hosts the 54th, y'all. Sorry, I said 50th for people who want to shoot at me. 54th annual Juneteenth Parade and Festival. Summerfest, specifically Milwaukee World Festival President and CEO Sarah Pincheri, expressed honor in developing this new partnership. Tony Kearney, the executive director of the Northcott Neighborhood House, stated that the partnership is significant in sharing Juneteenth celebration and history to its city and visitors. There's so much information up on the collaboration between these two organizations. You can go over there and check it out. You can go and check it out. Earl, you're right. OIC was one of those nonprofit type social service agencies. We know what happened to OIC. Oh my goodness. Woo. Can you say corruption? There wasn't white men who did that, by the way. Y'all go look up and see, what happened to OIC. Brothers, people who look like us. Sharita Shaw said DEI has been dismantled. She said, I believe Malele Cogg sits on the Northcott board. Well, we just told you who the executive director was. So there's still some hierarchy. There's still an organization. They're not, and we know when you have a board, there's some governance from that. I'm sure my sister, that's her district. That's her aldermanic district. At least up there on MLK around Green Bay. And I don't know how far her district extends, but she's part of that. Dre Day said, my good friend, shout out to Dre Day. He said, my good friend Tony Kearney is the president at the moment. Okay, there we go. She said, of course they're going to tax us. LOL. Like I'm just hearing people say, y'all know a business relationship means both sides get paid, right? And both sides benefit, right? So I think we have to think like business people. We shouldn't be thinking that we should be given something for free. We should be ready to take care of business as long as the right concessions are made. I don't agree with them charging small black business owners a king's ransom to do business down there. I think concessions should be made, but I also think you got to pay the cost to be the boss. You know, if you got a business and you ain't investing in it enough to make those kinds of moves, that's how a business grows. You make money and you invest back into the business, right? It take money to make money. I don't know if people understand that. I'm not even an entrepreneur and I understand that. Earl Henning says they charge when they open bathrooms at Summerfest. You get in bed with the city, you know who you sleeping with. You ain't gonna leave there like I didn't even know that, unless you're just very naive. I would say this: black business owners getting to know. I mean, it's your and this ain't no disrespect to no black business owner, but you should already have the skinny on this to see whether or not it's an opportunity you can take advantage of or not. If it's important to you, if not, then be like, fuck it. I ain't taking my shit down there. But I think for people who really want to do business, they're gonna say, let me see if it's an opportunity to go down here and get some money. I hear my brother on this show, Kamar, all the time talk about. And I remember before you opened the Sherman Phoenix, Kamar, you was all over the place like bird shit. You set your table up wherever you could get it. You say, shit, I'm vending here, I'm vending there, I'm going here, I'm going there. You wasn't like, man, shit, won't nobody help me. You was right. Like, nah, I gotta build this shit up. So once again,
hey, you know, I think a lot of people, they be looking for they people to keep them in business or for them to help them make them grow, right? But I understood that you got to look for people who you don't know.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You got to on that. You got to stay on that grind. Look for the people you don't know, because all the people you know supporting you in some kind of way already. You know what I mean? They can't bring all their hard-earned money to you. And so you got to look for the people you don't know. It's millions of people out here, you know what I'm saying, for you to reach to. And focus on that. Like you say, I was at all the different events. Any chance I got, I was somewhere. I might have been vending like 2-3 times a week somewhere. You know what I mean? And just get relentless on your grind. Grind for your shit like your life depend on it, because it do.
So check this out. With these platforms nowadays and something like Outlaw Radio, and I think you and I may have had this discussion before, there are many things we could do that would incur costs, right? But if there's not a real upside for me investing in it, I'm not going to do it. So like I can go and pay this huge fee to go somewhere and set up and we can do Outlaw Radio, right? But if it's not beneficial to my bottom line, right, then I'm not going to do it. It's just like when people say, Kev, you should go in the bar, in the club, in the studio. And I'm like, I'm not paying nobody $75 to $100 to use a room when I have built out a studio that I've invested thousands of dollars in sitting right here. When it becomes beneficial, right? And somebody say, okay, Kev, you know, let's do business. Then I'll do it. But I'm not going to go chasing a dream and if it doesn't make sense for my business or my bottom line. You know what I'm saying? So I think a lot of entrepreneurs, if you can't afford those fees, if you can't afford those costs, then maybe you should start saying, I got to figure out a way to improve to add to my income so I can do it.
The answer to that would be, well, let's figure out how many free marketing schemes we could do. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know so many business owners that don't post, they post about their business or post what they do every day. You need to do that 2-3 times a day. You need to be posting your shit 2-3 times a day.
Yep.
So what if some people, motherfuckers getting tired of seeing shit? You the one that got to eat off of this. You know what I'm saying? So what, they getting tired. You want to be a household name, so every time you look up, you know what I mean, you want your business or your service in people's face.
And they also post mainly with people that they know. Like, they're doing it for their friends. Like, come on down and buy from me. Like, no.
Hey, listen. Posting all the different groups you be joining, motherfuckers be joining in and all that shit. Post your shit in all the motherfucking groups.
Yeah. Sharita Shaw, shout out to my sister. She says they are involved. They confirmed it last summer. I just want to reiterate the facts. And more importantly, sometimes we just got to, put information out there so the people who listen to
I wish one of them on the show.
We probably could. We probably could, Kamar.
Yeah, because because why not get it from the horse's mouth?
Right.
They could tell us their intent.
Right. I'm sure if I extended some invitations to certain people, nothing's undoable, man. It's just like you say, it ain't what you do, it's how you doing it. And there's a million different things that we could, you think about it. I don't care what your initiative is or what your business is or what you want to promote. There's 1,000,001 ways to do it. And good luck on you finding all 1,000,000 of them. Until you see somebody who tries something outside the box and say, damn, I should have thought, why I didn't think of that. And then that's what makes it becomes a trend. It becomes a practice. Like, okay, no, this is how you do it. This is how you market it. This is how you push it. So it's a learning curve. I'm one of those people who is lazy with his business. Because I don't think it's for everybody. I don't think our platform is for everybody. And I'm very careful about who I hook my trailer to. Because I can't become a victim of this. This can't turn into something that becomes a headache for me. It has to remain what it is. Now, it's always room for growth. I don't know everything. And I'm sure sooner or later I will meet a person or an individual, an organization that we have a shared vision, and it can become very profitable and progressive. But I don't chase hoes. Like that. That's not what I do. I sit and build and I think. I'm a thinker. I'm not a marketer, Kamar. I'm not. I'm a creator. I'm a creative. I'm an intellectual. If I could find somebody who wanted to help me and it could be beneficial for both of us in terms of marketing this show, I'd do it right away. It has to be cost effective and all that, but I'm not selling the kitty. I'm not doing that. Like, cause it could be counterproductive. And like I said, it can take something that's great to you, that you enjoy doing, that you have a passion for, and turn it into a complete fucking headache. Just one, it only takes that's
one of the reasons why I say I always preach to everybody, especially the youth. Find what you love to do, something that come natural. You know what I'm saying? It ain't work now. You know what I'm saying? You're getting paid to rowboats. I don't know, but whatever the fuck it is you like to do, you know what I'm saying? Rowboats. Find out what you love to do. You know?
Yeah. I get you, man. Yeah. I love building canoes. Hey, man, we'll build.
Build the motherfuckers and find your audience. Yeah. Find not your audience, but you find the people who buy canoes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. Earl Henning said you will never get into Summerfest with your guns. Well, they'll go down there and fight. If the security ain't set up right, this is the first time this has been done. And see, this is what I trip off of, because for a long time we have things that it's ours, right? And for 54 years, we have been doing Juneteenth Day, and it's just been contained. It's just been in this area. And we say this should be a festival that has way more exposure. It should be, after 54 years, this should be way bigger. But when and this is the point I made last time, but as soon as there's an attempt to expand its reach and make it bigger, people say, oh, hell no, we ain't doing that. So I'm like, I don't know what you want. I don't really know what people want. That's why one of the issues with us a lot of times, us, not me preaching down to the people, us, myself included, we don't come to situations with a list of asks. We don't have a list of wants and needs. We come just like naked almost. Like, yo, shit. I don't have what you want. Damn, we gonna have to meet again. I just came here to say what I had to say. You should have came through the door with that list. Like, here's what I want. This is what I need. How much of this can you agree to? Now, Ace Cooley said, shit, they should give us something. From my understanding, they done took the sales tax up to 14% in Milwaukee. The sales tax in Milwaukee is not 14%. It's not 14%. Dion, are you still with me? Okay, Dion probably like, fuck you, Kevin. Hung up. I don't know unless he's feeding his puppies.
Yeah, I'm still with you. I muted you because I'm moving around and making me a hamburger, and I didn't want you to hear all that shit in the background.
No, the sales tax is not 11. He said 14%. Ain't it 7? I thought it went from 0.5 to 0.7%.
I don't know what the sales tax is. I just pay that shit and keep it moving.
I know it ain't 14%. that would be
no.
You wouldn't even be able to manage that.
Chicago up there at 14%.
Really?
Down there, it's 10%.
Wow.
14%. And you got to pay for a plastic bag. When you go to Chicago, when you go to the grocery store, you got to pay for your bags.
The sales tax in the city of Milwaukee is now 7.9%. Because for so long it was 5%. So 7.9% of every dollar you spend is taxed. So 8 cents on the dollar almost. And he said they should give us something. So if once again, if it's not generating money, if it doesn't make sense business-wise, why would anybody entertain it? I think we should be proud of the fact that they've recognized that, hey, there's a way to make some bread here. But this is one of those times when we should demand that we are one of the groups or organizations or the culture that's involved. We should be making some money off of this. Because I know Northcott is making some money. So, and I don't want to go into their books and question what they're doing, because I'm sure to fund their facility and engage in whatever programming they have. And I think they rightfully deserve to make some money as an organization off of this. If they've been involved with it for 54 years. Business is business to me, right? Like business should be done. I believe that. I believe that's what makes things go. He says, this is Earl Henning. He says, well, you know, they just like to fuck and wear tennis shoes. Earl. Oh man, I love my Outlaw Radio family, y'all. Sharita Shaw says, shouts out to my dad, Jericho's Barbecue. He made the cut to be one of the first black vendors to participate at the Summerfest grounds for Juneteenth. Shout out to your dad. And does he have a brick and mortar? Where else I want to support him, because I loves me some barbecue. So where's his restaurant at, or whatever he does, let's support him. That's what I'm saying. This is what makes things go. Shout out to him, man. That's great. It's great to know that a local business, and in particular, a foundational Black American business, is going to be able to benefit from this. That's what this is all about. You know, somebody earlier said you got to do what you got to do, right? And sometimes that's exactly what it is. And sometimes you take a calculated risk as a business person to say, you know, we're going to try this shit and see if it works. But you just gotta, know when to pay and when to play, and when to play and when to pay. That's your instincts as an entrepreneur. You know what I'm saying? So it's a game. It's all fair. It's all love, all fair than love and war for me.
Yeah, that's all a part of your profit and loss margin thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta know how much you can make versus what you gotta pay out. You know what I'm saying? So, like, you think about stuff like that. Like, okay, if they want $300 to vend, whatever it may be, you know what I'm saying? You got to make $300 back at least. Or first you make the money back, which you spent on all the shit to make, you know what I mean, to get all the shit. And then you got to make your $300 back on top of that. And then now, what kind of profit you making? Now, like I said, one of the issues down there for food vendors is that you got to make, okay, they want 30% also.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you really have to know, do the math with your shit. You really have to know what you're doing if you're a business owner going to deal with them people, because they're going to get their money. Whether you make none or not, you may break even, but they don't make money. You know what I'm saying? Know that. So, you know what I mean? Really, you got to be on your shit.
Well, as a business person,
And just thinking that, my
And
bad, but
another
just
thing,
thinking that just because you down at Summerfest, you finna pop off and you finna do this or do
I
that.
mean nothing.
But you know what I mean? Depending on what you sell, man, that's a lot of fucking hustle. You ain't thinking of that. Like how many ears of corn you think the motherfuckers sell down there? They selling a lot of fucking corn. Or like me, if I made teas, if I went down there to sell my teas or something like that, you know what I mean? That's a lot of motherfucking teas I gotta sell to make
Overhead
$300.
goes up.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, the
Overhead.
costs go up, but then that'd be a problem too. Now motherfuckers it's really harder to make $1. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and
So-
that's what I was saying about as a business owner, you have to understand what overhead is. If it costs me $50,000 to just to run my business, and I go into a deal where it's going to cost me $70,000, I'm losing money. I'm losing $20,000. Even if I break even, I'm losing $20,000.
Yeah. Now some businesses is
Yep.
worth it.
And to
You know
go
what I
down
mean?
there, you probably gotta have all your I's dotted and your T's crossed too.
Why
Your
wouldn't you?
licenses, making sure your have
you
your
ain't even
feet or whatever shit.
if your shit ain't legit, they ain't even gonna give you permission.
That's true. I
You know
agree
what
with
I
you.
mean? They ain't even gonna give you permission.
So once again, like my sister Sharita Shaw is saying, that her dad owns she's telling us now it's a food truck, and he was one of the first black vendors to participate. And she said, Earl Henning, he said the Jericho barbecue across the street in the bus from Walmart on East Capitol. Okay, I don't get to East Capitol often, but I'm gonna have to go. No, I'm gonna have to, because I'm on the
He
total.
got a restaurant. He got a restaurant now on the east side.
Jericho's?
Yeah.
Okay.
He got right now.
She said that's her dad.
It is.
She said raise your prices at those type of places, and that's business right there. Once again,
because everybody else still doing it.
Right. Well, if I gotta incur a cost,
that's how they covering that 30%.
If I gotta incur a cost to do business, I'm gonna pass it on to the consumer. I'm not gonna eat it just to be there to do business. No, where my juice might have been, if you and that's a selling point for you to say. If somebody says, I love this juice, but I just charge you, and I'm just price throwing it. If I say it was $10 down here, and I say, look, if you come by the store, it's $8. That's somebody say, okay, you know what? That's a discount. Really, it ain't no discount. It's just adjusting the cost of doing business. So they feel like, oh, I'm gonna get a deal if I go to his store. I'm just saying, you ain't got to tell him everything. Like it's. She said he closed his restaurant on the south side. Okay. She said he closed. Okay. Well, I mean, but shout out to your pops and congratulations. I hope he gets, I hope he, as them young people say, I hope he get a bag. Hey, listen, if you're single in Milwaukee right now, if you just out here kind of just drifting and, moving and shaking, as they say, you better be careful, because the studies from CDC come out and say Milwaukee is syphilis is running rampant in Milwaukee. So y'all got to be careful. The rate of syphilis in Milwaukee is 2.5 times higher than the national average. Be careful. Hey, vet these candidates, man. Don't just be throwing it in the wind. Remember Eddie Murphy? What was that? Raw, when he said you just playing craps with your piece. He said you throw your shit on the table and say, "Oh shit, syphilis, give me my shit back. Give me my shit back." Y'all got to be careful, man. Y'all be careful, please, please, please be careful. She said, "Why do you think water is $8 at Summerfest, as well as the zoo?" Right? All these places, but she said the first black vendor. What white vendors will be at this celebration? I'd like to know that too. What white vendors are going to be at Juneteenth Day? Beer. What else?
Wigger's gonna be down there.
I don't know that they will. You think so, Dion? You think it'll be a lot of Wiggers? I don't know, because white people tend to really not fuck with us on a lot of our shit, because they know black people.
White people culture vultures. I wouldn't give a fuck with nobody saying. I wouldn't want them motherfuckers to come nowhere near me.
I would want them to go down there and spend a lot of money for these vendors, so Jericho's barbecue can make a mint, and so any other black business down there. I would want white people to flood down there and be like, I never had spare ribs like this in my life, because it's about black businesses getting the shine and getting the money, man. So yeah, I would.
Wait, hold on. It ain't funny though, right? But I remember, and I don't know if you know or remember this place. About maybe 5, 6 years ago, maybe 7. I'll give it, we'll say 10, but I don't think it's that long ago. There was a place on the east side that sold gourmet cheeses. It was black owned. A motherfucker gave a shout out on the radio to him. Guess what? They ain't around no more. When them white people, I guess it was a white face down there running the business. When them white people found out that motherfucker was black owned, quickly went out of business. So I don't know. Y'all got more faith in Mr. Man than I do. But I know
I just love how you make these assumptions that we got so much faith in white people and you don't. Like, so we just some shufflers, like we just buck dancers on this show.
I'm not saying it like that.
I mean, that's how it comes off. Like, oh, I know y'all got
more. You definitely saying it like that.
Right,
you definitely saying it like that.
You do it to me all the time, Kamar. Like, Kev, I know you think everything's all good. Like you just hear him tonight. Like, oh, Kevin, I don't know. You act like you don't understand how white people do business. You ever seen BT? Have you ever read the Ebony Jet magazine? Like, what are you talking about, man? It's okay to be pro-black, but don't be one-sided and have narrow vision, man. You know, it's okay for black people to expand their horizons. It's okay for us to see things from a clear perspective. We don't all have to be locked in on the same. I want to say some shit because it sound good. Like, fuck the white man. I hate that motherfucking devil. Like, I ain't gotta say that for people to think my blackness can't be questioned. Like my awareness as a foundational black American is not in question here. Like, and I don't have any super faith in the white man doing anything for us. One thing I do is I do try to understand what they are doing to us, and then try to say, okay, how do you solve these? How do you slip past? How do you get through the cracks? How do I break through? And if I never do, I'll die trying. Ain't that what your man said? Get rich or die trying. And I'm never gonna sit back.
Today's Pac's birthday too.
Today is Tupac's birthday. Shout out to Tupac.
May rest in peace.
Rest in peace to the greatest rapper of all times.
Before we get off the radio, remember I was telling you I had took that test for the boiler attendant trainee.
Yes, sir.
I passed 80%.
There you go.
I ain't gonna be slanging this motherfucking garbage too much longer because I'm sick of the city. Fuck them and they garbage, and fuck everybody that got garbage out there. For real, I can't. Motherfuckers be tripping about that garbage, man. Man, you ain't put my garbage can. It's a garbage can. Find it. Do you think if we took our time to put everybody garbage back where the fuck it go, we'd be out here all day? It's about to be hot. I was sweating like I stole something today, man. I ain't lying to you. I couldn't even make no spit in my mouth. I had to hurry up and go get me 2 Gatorades, man. I was out for the count out there, man. Because I be dressing, like, I don't wear short sleeve shirts. You know what I'm saying? Like, out there, I don't want that garbage and shit all touching my motherfucking skin and shit. So I be wearing long sleeve shirts, and I fucked around and wore some pants today. I had a fleece lining. Boy, y'all could have peeled me up off the ground out there on the real, man, because I was hot as a motherfucker. But yeah, hopefully I'll be going to this MPS.
The only thing I hate when garbage men, when they spill the garbage juice in front of my house.
No, but that.
I know.
That's gotta happen.
I know. Sometimes it doesn't though, and I guess it depends on what I actually got in the can. I'm just saying, I don't harass those brothers and sisters because I'm not one who wants to do what they do. Physically, I'm not even able to be hanging on in the back of no garbage truck. You know what I mean? Like that's my days of manual labor are far behind me. I'm a
you
button
talking about
pusher.
my back? Oh my God, kid!
I'm a button pusher.
Kid,
but my point is, there sometimes the garbage comes and I pull up, and it don't always be my garbage juice. You know what I mean? Like when they pull up, the truck is dripping already, and I say, "Damn, what is this in the street?" It's like, that's the only thing that annoys me about what they do.
Well, the thing about that though, like a lot of people, some people got old garbage cans. Like if you got a rat or a squirrel and shooting your shit, get another one. It's free. You know what I'm saying? But when it rains, the garbage, the water get up in there. So we got to unplug the back of the truck. It's a plug down there where the thing go. You know, we don't unplug it like that, but it get plugged up because it's going to automatically leak. And we stick a stick up in there. All that shit just fall out, though. But, yeah, that's really about it, though. But, you know, I ain't saying MPS is going to... Yeah, we gotta do it because it's not that water should be flushing back there.
Stop by the
You know what I'm
sewer.
saying?
Stop by the sewer and dump that shit in there. Why you gotta?
I don't think you could do. I think you would. Yeah, that'll get motherfucker get fined. Like that might lose their job.
As opposed to leaving it in front of my house, like what is kids
Hey.
playing on the street?
Hey, that shit rolled down the alley right in the sewer anyway. You might as well just
it does.
Yeah, because when it rains, you're right. Kamar's gonna run down the gutter. Come on, man. Now I'm upset. Now I'm upset. Sharita,
but you know what?
Shaw, she said she said it's a list of vendors. She said she'll send it to me. I would appreciate that because we'll make a point of that. I'm just out for clarity, y'all. Before I can call the shot and say who's wrong and who's winning, who's losing, I need to figure out where both sides are. Or else I'm just a motherfucker who come on here and just say whatever, just to make you feel good.
Is you going down there to Juneteenth Thursday?
Absolutely not.
I'm gonna go down there for a minute though. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go. I hate that my guy, man. He rest in peace, man. It just ain't gonna feel the same without Keon down there with his camera taking pictures and catching the festivities and just a moment. You know what I'm saying? Where a motherfucker might be biting on some corn or just a laugh, or you seeing an old friend. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go down there early in the morning. You know what I'm saying? Go on and pay my shots out, stalk some bitches.
Oh my goodness.
Hey,
your ass gonna get escorted off the premises, just like the Sherman Phoenix. We're like, who is this nigga?
I ain't gonna stalk them like that, though. It's a few that I be having my eye on. You know what I'm saying? They working in media. You know what I'm saying? So I can go down there and be like, why you playing with me?
Oh Lord.
How nigga trying to. Nigga, you need to fuck with a real nigga, though. A lot of these bitches, they don't be want to fuck with a real nigga. They like fuck with these lame niggas, man. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, though. But I'm going to go down there for a little while. And I ain't buying nothing because that shit overpriced. My mama's like, you going to go down there and get you a turkey leg? Well, not. Like you said, most definitely not. Come on, get in the house. Get in the house, goddammit. Yeah, I had to take the puppies out one more time before I go to sleep. So I'm going to bid you guys farewell, and I'm going to finish watching y'all on YouTube, man.
Peace out, man.
We'll see. Did you talk about I didn't catch your show in the beginning. I came on like 7:36, and I was following the clothes and shit. Did you talk about the political violence that happened in Minnesota?
I didn't. I didn't get to it yet.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm about to hang up and listen then. All right, bro. Love y'all, man. You niggas be smooth, man, always.
Peace, man. Peace out.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And congrats on your new joint. Earl Henny says SAS Hospitality Group. Yeah, SAS is B. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I like to just know who the vendors are. Telly Nellum, how you doing, my brother? He said, real shit, bro. Earl Henny is in the chat room. He said, you like the smell of that garbage juice. I think he was talking to D.I. because he sure wasn't talking to me. And look, where I grew up at, okay, so when I grew up on 17th and Capitol, so the garbage cans were in the alley, right? And so they would come along in the garbage truck, Kamar, and go through our alley and pick up the garbage, right? I never paid attention to the garbage juice issue. When we moved into a home with a driveway and we had to move the garbage carts from the driveway onto the curb, that's when I started to notice the garbage juice. And so now I see it I'm always like, oh man, hell no. Like, why they do this? Like, I knew it had to be a method to it. And he's saying, hey, we put a stick in and letting that shit run down in front of my house. Sharita said, if you go, you have to go before 10 p.m., be gone by 11 a.m. 10 a.m., be gone by 11 a.m. Fun fact. First of all, I said I wasn't going to go, and people might say, you talking all this shit, but you're not even going to be there. I have attended Juneteenth Day so many times in my life. As a matter of fact, as a youngster, 12, 13, 14, I rode horses in the parade on Juneteenth with the Black Cowboy Association out of Milwaukee, which was something that my father was a part of in the 80s. And he ended up buying some horses and boarding them in Menominee Falls and Richfield. So I rode in the parade and then gave rides to kids for like $3 or $4 a piece, made a bunch of money both years, right? And Kamar, as soon as I got my horse back on the trailer to go back to the barn, the lady who drove us there came with her hand out. Okay, I brought you down here. I need some paper. On the way back, we stop at Fleet Farm. You need to go in here and purchase certain things for your horse because there's post care when we get back to the barn. So I thought I had made a bunch of money, but like we just discussed, the overhead, the cost of doing business hit me right in my ass, right? Luckily, I didn't have to pay taxes to the city. I just had to pay Miss Dottie, and I had to go and buy some stuff from Fleet Farm for my horse. But so when I worked for Employ Milwaukee, we went to Juneteenth Day. We had a booth. When I worked for Safe and Sound, we had a booth. When I worked for Wraparound Milwaukee, we had a booth. So I've been at Juneteenth so many times, working there. I was part of one of those nonprofits who, we had a booth down there and was like, yo, I remember one year I can't remember where I was working. I don't know if it was with the Boys and Girls Club. I think it was when I was a site manager for the Boys and Girls Club. We were in charge of the children's stage. That was who we collaborated with the show, with the young performers, like who wanted to sing and dance troops and all of that. So I had to sit in that sun, Kamara. I'm talking about, boy, oh boy, oh boy. Man, from like 10 in the morning till it was over. Your boy was cooked when it was done. I ain't want no damn corn. I'm like, I want to get the fuck out of here. So I've gone. There's just, at this point, there's nothing down there really that will pique my interest. If there was, like I said, this is where you get people to come back. Say, this just happenstance for shits and giggles. If there was a situation where they said, well, you come to Summerfest, we're going to have Morris Day in the Time, or we're going to have the Ghetto Boys, or we're going to have like some legacy act from our generation, then I say, you know what? I think I'm going to go there. I think I'm going to go down there this year. Even if it was, I love blues. I love old school R&B. A lot of those groups are still touring. So if you say, hey, Alexander O'Neal going to be there, I'm going, right? Like, I want to see that shit. So that would attract me. I'm more about culture now than to just walk around eating corn. Like, I want to go down there and see something. I wish the NOI was involved and they could say, we're going to have a minister come to Summerfest. I know they can't. It's wishful thinking. But I'd be there. I'd be like, I'm going down there. I'm going to go hear Minister Farrakhan speak. I know that piss all the white people in Wisconsin off, but shit, it's worth it, This is Earl. He's saying, I worked security for 27 years at Juneteenth. Wow. Yikes. Yeah, you go all the way back. See, I was there. I rode my horse there in like 1988, 1989, and 1990. And I don't put those pictures up on Facebook because I realistically got on some cowboy boots, some chaps, and a hat. Like, come on, I was really a cowboy. Like, I was dressed apart. Yeah, I miss my horse. Megan, man. We had a good time. He said the Isley brothers. That's what I'm saying. Like, if it's black, let's make it black. You know what I mean? Like, don't bring none of this young shit so the kids come down there, because they don't want to see Earth, Wind, and Fire or nothing like that. That's for us. Go down there, man, and have a good time, man. Some jazz, it's a lot of bands in Milwaukee that we don't even give light to. Like, let's go down there. And I love live music. So I'm one of those, I like instruments. So that would draw me. She said, Sharita Shaw said they got security. I bet you they do. And they're going to have more if they get word of some niggers on the way. In reference to Dion asking me about the murder and shooting of the politicians in Minnesota, the shooter was actually captured. They've captured him. I guess they caught him. He was on the run. Once the FBI get on your ass, you better be damn swift. I guess he was found. Some lady was coming out of her house and seen him like run into some grass and try to hide. Like, he looked pretty dirty when they caught him. But once again, this is an individual who had a hit list of Democratic lawmakers that he was, I guess wanted to target. And there's some talk that he actually lived in Wisconsin at one point in the Milwaukee area and worked around, here. But this, once again, this is the energy that white nationalism and Trump supporters bring. That's another thing we call the shot. Like, it gets more and more Brody. You have a lot of white people who are just so easily led astray and already disillusioned, and they want to ride for Trump. They want to do something. Not that he told them to do it, but he brings that kind of energy. He polarizes them in that way. That's what you get with him. Because a lot of times it's not what he says directly, because they're on some follow the leader type shit. And so he don't even have to say it. It's like they're saying, well, you didn't say that. He said, I didn't directly tell them to do what they did on January 6th. You didn't have to. They understood your message to them. Sarita Saw said, I saw SWV at Juneteenth. Really? Were they just there or were they performing? I never knew SWV performed at Juneteenth Day. Earl Henny said he saw Lil Bow Wow and Genuine. He said he was by his house. Lil Bow Wow was by his house at June. I'm confused, Earl. What's going on here? Oh, he's talking about the shooter. I'm sorry, y'all. It's hard to keep up with these comments. Was he by his house? Is that where he lived? I have to go and really look into it. Sometimes it's some stuff I look at, man, I'm just like, I'd rather put my energy elsewhere. She said SWV performed at Juneteenth Day in the 90s at the height of their fame. They were Juneteenth. Wow. Sure wasn't Jam for Peace? I never heard of SWV performing at Juneteenth Day. Kamar, you muted.
Now, I was going to say, like, shit, I don't know, but I may have missed it. You know what I mean?
Right, that's possible. Right, yeah, I don't know. I was a even as a young knucklehead, man, I absolutely loved SWV.
I definitely would have been at the stage, right?
I would have been there.
It was popping.
Man, I would have been there, man. I loved SWV, man. When I was like, man, I thought they were singing to me, Kamar. When I was a teenager, I thought Coco was my girlfriend. I was like, we just ain't met yet. We ain't met up yet. My wife always teased me every time we see SWV. She'd be like, there goes your little girlfriend. Because I used to love me some Coco and SWV. I'm one of the only people in this country who bought Coco's solo album. And I loved it. So that's what's up, man.
Fuck boys to men, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I couldn't stand them dogs, man. Couldn't stand them, man. Oh, busters. And Shy, right? And them dudes who sang Sex You Up. Like, them dudes are all lames to me, man. But you put on some, I don't know what it is that you done to me. Boy, I'd be like, yeah, love me some Coco. But I like, I've always liked music, period. So I liked Mary J, all those 90s R&B, all the sisters. Most of the dudes, if they were like really simping, I didn't really rock with them. I got put up on Jodeci later, but yeah. You know what I'm saying? But So she said they was on a stage on the side of a building. Wow. She said she swears to God, you don't got to do that. We believe you, my sister. I hope you ain't making that up. That ain't no real flex. I believe you. Said, did you hear the comments, Trump? His goofy ass. I haven't heard what he said about the attacks yet. I haven't seen it. Because he was doing his bogus ass parade, his military parade. She said all free concerts back then. I remember they used to do, Kamar, you might remember this too. They used to do free concerts in Washington Park a lot. And it would be like, bigger artists who would do it. But I wasn't going to be in Washington Park. Me and my fellas wasn't going to be in Washington Park like that. We just like, nah, we ain't going to that, man. We straight. He said, since Trump been in office, shit been crazy. Look at Israel attacks on Iran. Yeah, it's a lot going on, man. And the United States always backs Israel. So here we go. I don't know. I haven't made the connection yet to know if this is something that Trump's presidency has caused. I know that there's always been a lot of tension in that so-called Middle East, right? Because there's always a fight for land. And a lot of it has historical significance. I just know America always has supported Israel. And so we'll see what's about to come. Iran has nukes, right? Israel has nukes, but the United States does, so they back Israel. This is a tenuous situation, man. Cooler heads need to prevail because they're already bombing each other. It's crazy. Earl said they are this year's entertainment, the Isley Brothers and Genuine. Okay. Yeah, I'm not moving for Genuine. That's not going to get me down there. Shout out to the Isley Brothers. That's cool. But, bring Al Green or something. You won't get me down there. Bring Stevie. They say, nah, we saving that shit for Summerfest. He ain't coming for Juneteenth Day. Iran doesn't have nukes? Okay. That's good. Thank God for that, Dion. Thank God for that. He said they don't have nukes. Yeah, Yeah, I probably should know who all has nuclear missiles and who doesn't, right? Irresponsible on my part. Man, it's one of them times, like, I think today is a time where you just really got to keep your eyes open and your head on a swivel. There is so much going on. So much to be aware of in this city, man. And don't depend solely on social media because you'll go crazy. Like, I remember back in the days, they used to say, well, stop watching the mainstream news because it's always focusing on the most horrible shit, right? And so you go crazy. People start saying, I can't watch the news no more. Facebook, regardless of how young people try to down it and disown it, and it's for old people that listen, man, it's some ghetto reporters on Facebook. They're on the scene before Fox 6, 58, 12, all of them. And sometimes it gets to be a bit much because it's early in the morning, Kamar, and already seen police, tape and murder scenes and cars overturned. I'm like, damn, so, I would say spread out who you get your information from. Just, and be very mindful of the source because it is so much clickbait and false information that you'd be running around thinking some shit. They just ran around for months talking about Chris Webber had a baby by Doug Christie wife and they was going to court and all this shit. Chris, like, that's not even my baby. Like, they have ran with this shit. I seen this shit on some real platforms.
Yeah, niggas love toxic shit.
Yeah, man. We all can be cheerleaders for foolishness every now and then. Come on, that's why I don't push myself off as some super righteous, super enlightened, guru of manifestation thoughts. And like, I'm not, I'm just a regular dude. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I don't propose to have no mystical powers.
Right.
I don't have his on Thundercats. He say, sword of omens, give me sight beyond sight. I don't have that. I look at information, I research it, and I make a determination. Of course, we have opinions. Of course, we think we want things to happen. And I think I heard you say this last week on the show, and I put it on the TikTok page. It's okay not to know everything. That's why you build up a circle of people who know a little something. And when you don't know something, you can say, hey, man, what's up with that? And they can, hey, no, it's this, that, and the third. You know what I mean? And that's what I love about the Outlaw family is that if I'm on here, because you notice as soon as I said 50 years old, people like, nah, it's older than that, Kev.
Right away.
54, say it, right? Like, I love that. And when it's something negative, I want to be corrected. I want somebody to hit me and say, Kev, no, it's not really, no, that's not really even it. It's this, that, and the third. So I think humility is the word of the day for our show. We're going to have to start doing a word of the day. And it's humility for tonight. Humble yourself. A lot of times we just need to humble ourselves. I know I'm a real one. I'm that dude. I'm that bitch. No, you're just one person. You're an individual. You cry, you bleed, you breathe, you die. Just like every other human. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, so, you must be talking about the mother cats because I'm the shit.
There you go. I know you is, right? You talking about him, he talking about the mother niggas.
Talking about the mother cats.
Nigga, do you see my hat? Do you see this hat? Nah, that's what's up, man. I'm not telling people not to believe in themselves, Kamar.
Right. I get it.
I think a lot of people they take themselves too seriously. Like, they really believe, like, I'm this beacon of light that shines throughout the galaxy. And
right. And you make no mistakes. You perfect.
You just a nigga from Milwaukee, just like me. Right. And there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong like that. She said,
you got a lot of work to do.
She said, word from the OG looking ass. That's what's up, man. Earl Henny said Bone Thugs and Harmony was coming. Now they replaced by Bow Wow. I'm thinking it's pretty easy to get Bow Wow to perform now. Like, I don't know. Bow Wow was after my, people like Bow Wow is a legend. I'm like, really? Is he? I'm so, come on, I'm old.
Younger generation to like Courtney. To like Courtney and Rail generation.
Yeah. I mean, I was like 25 when he hit. Like, I'm like, listen to a little kid. No, shit. No, I wasn't. No.
He had to been a teenager.
Yeah, he was young. He's very young. Like, when we first heard the Chronic.
You had to been a teenager, man.
Yeah, when we first heard the Chronic, he was like 6 years old, and Snoop would bring him out on stage. Like, I definitely wasn't checking for him when he was 12. Like, oh, that's dude who used to be was like, nah, he's a little kid. What am I listening to that for? But that's just what happens when you get old, right? Like, but that's what it is. What you got coming up this week, man?
This week, what I got coming up, I'll be down at the Fondy Market this weekend, Saturday. You catch me at Fondy Market. It's the season again. The farmers market season. So,
what days and times is the Fondy Market open?
Saturdays at it opens at 8 and it lasts through 1 o'clock. 8 to 1 o'clock.
I be trying to come up with stuff to do. Me and the wife be trying to invest time on the weekend.
Yeah, man, that's a dope spot, man, to walk through, see all the different vegetables. She love it. The vegetables, the flowers and shit. This is the time of season too. Like I was just speaking about the flowers. There's some Asians that come down here, man, and they be having these bundles of flowers, man. The best I've ever seen, dog. Like in the summertime, I get to get Ticey a bundle of flowers every weekend from down here. So it's dope.
So
like I say, it's flowers you never seen before and shit they be having, dog. Dope.
So you was a Boys to Men fan. Well,
you ain't have to be no Boys to Men fan to get your lady flowers, man. Because I was not a Boys to Men fan. I was a Jodeci. I was one of them niggas.
Okay. With the silk shirt and the boots on. You was one of them dudes.
I was a Jodeci nigga. I just didn't have the boots, but I had the silk shirt.
I'm fucking with you. No, and it was my idea to say, because we look for. There used to be times on the weekend when I would go right and my wife would go left, and I see her Saturday night. But now we've been trying to, we should be doing something. Most of the time we end up just eating somewhere or getting something to eat unless it's something else. But I feel like to go down there and really look at some really fresh vegetables. Because I know she does love salad and stuff like that and fresh fruit and
they got food down there too, Cam.
Oh yeah, okay. So we're gonna have to make our appearance low key and just slide through there. You see a big nigga limping through there on a cane with his woman. It's probably me, right? No, I'm gonna try to get down there this week, man. We'll be back Wednesday, y'all. Tentatively, I like right now because sometimes I have to make adjustments to get my son to and from work. Gotta help him get his money up. Shit. That reduces my overhead, Kamar. So but if we don't come on Wednesday, we definitely back on
you're planting the seed right now.
Yeah, man. I'm trying to show you, hey, this is how you get your little money, and you get the more you work, the further you get up out of daddy's pocket. Straight up. So and to build up your independence. So I just try to support that. So if we don't come on Wednesday, we'll definitely be on Thursday. I'm committed to making sure we do at least 2 shows a week, as for the near future until we decide how far we want to expand or extend our reach with Outlaw Radio. So I'm very careful with my baby. I don't just leave her with anybody. Take care of her very well. So, but anyways, in the meantime and in between time, research the researcher. Do what you can do. Like I said, keep your eyes open, keep your head on the swivel, man. But the most important thing you can do if you really want to change anything or make any change is be the change you want to see. That was the purpose of Father's Day, and that's the purpose of Mother's Day, is for us to acknowledge us as parents and say, try to be the best that you can. Try to be the best parent that you can, because that will be your personal contribution to the community. You want to put out positivity. You want to produce positivity. You want to build on positivity. You want to build legacies. And a lot of times it starts with us, right? Like you can't be out here wilding out and then talking to people like you righteous. Your actual conversation has to match your actual actions. In other words, if your criticism of the community outweighs your contribution, the people who I rock with and the people who I hang around will just look at you and say, oh yeah, he or she is a coon. But it's always room for growth, man. Peace and love. Shout out to you, Kamar. Shout out to Real OG. Shout out to the House of Vitality. Shout out to the People's News Network. Shout out to the People's Network. And shout out to all of Outlaw Radio family, not fans, family. Please share the show. Share the show. Sharita, if we change it out, Sharita, I should say, if we change it, I will definitely tag you in it. Y'all be cool, man. Peace and love.
Peace.